So yesterday we saw what were the reasons for appearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Three very confidential reasons for appearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Some of you have shared. Pradeep Prabhu, what is the first reason of appearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Why he comes in this very unique form? Quickly, you have very less time. I will stop at 8:30. Unmute and speak quickly. Pradeep, you are not hearing? Unmute and speak. We are not able to hear you.
To enter into the transcendental mellows of the Lord.
To enter into the transcendental mellows of the Lord? What a reply is this? Three specific reasons that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears. We discussed that so much in detail and so nicely the devotees have written. Yes, Sonika.
Prabhuji, it was predicted by Garg Muni that in Kali Yuga, Lord will appear in the yellow form. So that was one reason. And one reason was that Krishna wanted to know that why Radharani loves him so much, why she is so much attracted. So he wanted to feel that, get that feeling. So that's why he appeared as Lord Chaitanya. And also...
Okay, wait. Okay, one is sufficient. Let others answer. Yes. So what is the Madhurima? Krishna's beauty, what pleasure Srimati Radharani gets by Krishna's beauty, what is so attractive in Krishna that Krishna is not aware. So he wants to taste his own beauty. So he comes as Srimati Radharani. He comes in the mood and complexion of Srimati Radharani as Lord Chaitanya. Okay, what was the second reason? Just Jolamani.
Prabhuji, Lord Krishna spoke in Bhagavad Gita that one has to surrender to him, but Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teach how to surrender to him and how to become Krishna conscious and render devotional service to the Lord. Thank you, Prabhuji.
That is not one of the three confidential reasons. That is not. Prema Prabhu.
To teach the conditioned soul that how by serving Supreme Lord Krishna one can get deliverance. To teach us this thing. He has taken the position of devotee.
No. See, we will be entering into those verses. So if we have to hear very attentively, because when the verses will begin, the first 14 verses are the essence of the first 7 chapters, which establishes how Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the supreme absolute truth. Anyway, to whatever extent you are able to receive, be attentive. Okay, Manish Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. The second was, what are the special qualities that attracts Srimati Radharani? So that's what he wanted to test, Prabhuji, because of which he came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
See, that's what I said, to taste his own sweetness, his own madhurima, adbhut madhurima. That is the second reason actually. The first reason is to understand the greatness of Srimati Radharani's love. Śrī Radhaya Pranaya Mahima. We will come all. See, Prabhupada, why I am reading the introduction? Because we are preparing our heart to enter. Otherwise, nothing much we will be able to understand. As we read, Prabhupada is saying this is not for novice. This is for those who have already understood Bhagavad Gita and to a large extent Bhagavatam. The first reason is to understand the greatness of Srimati Radharani's love. That is Shri Radhaya Pranay Mahima. That is the first reason. And second is to taste his own sweetness, his own Madhurima. And the third is to taste Radharani's happiness. That what happiness she derives by loving or serving Krishna. Okay, anyway, these are higher topics. Now we'll continue. So in this first, these are actually the first 5 verses in which Kaviraj Goswami is glorifying Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now continuing. After offering respects to Lord Chaitanya, Krishnadas Kaviraj began offering them to Lord Nityananda in the 7th verse of Caitanya-Caritāmṛta. So first 6 verses. We have covered the first 6 verses. So the 7th verse onwards is the offering. So see, this is all Mangalacharan. So the first 14 verses are constituted as the Mangalacharan. And in Mangalacharan, there are 3 aspects. You remember many days back when we started Bhagavad Gita, we did Mangalacharan. I gave one class. So Mangalacharan has 3 aspects. Anyone remembers? First is offering obeisances or respect. It's called Namaskar. And second is the Vastu Nirdesha, the object of worship or service. So that is what Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is establishing as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the third is Ashirvad. So now, after offering respects to Lord Chaitanya, Krishnadas Kaviraj begins offering them to Lord Nityananda in the 7th verse of the Caitanya-Caritāmṛta. The author explains that Lord Nityananda is Balaram, who is the origin of Mahavishnu. That day we were reading on Nityananda Prabhu's appearance day. Krishna's first expansion is Balaram, a portion of whom is manifested as Sankarshana, who then expands as Pradyumna. In this way, so many expansions take place. Although there were many expansions, Lord Shri Krishna is the origin as confirmed in the Brahma Samhita. He is like the original candle from which many thousands and millions of candles are lit. Although any number of candles can be lit, the original candle still retains its identity as the origin. In this way, Krishna expands himself into so many forms. And all these expansions are called Vishnu Tattva. So all those expansions which are coming from Krishna, and the first expansion from Krishna is from Balaram. So all those expansions which are actually coming from Balaram, they are all Vishnu Tattva. Vishnu is a large light and we are all small lights. Prabhupada is giving a comparison. But all are expansions of Krishna. So that is directly coming from Balaram. They are called Vishnu Tattva. And those who are fragmented portions, Vibhinna Ansha, they are the Jivas. When it is necessary to create material universe, Vishnu expands himself as Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu lies down in the causal ocean and breathes all the universes from his nostrils. Thus from Mahavishnu and the causal ocean springs all the universes, and all these universes, including ours, float in the causal ocean. In this regard, there is the story of Vamana, who when he took 3 steps, stuck his foot through the covering of this universe. Water from the causal ocean flowed through the hole that his foot made, and it is said that that water became river Ganges. Therefore, the Ganges, flowing from the Himalayas down to the Bay of Bengal, is accepted as the most sacred water of Vishnu and is worshipped by all Hindus. So this is how Mother Ganges had come to this material universe. It is emanating from the spiritual world. One more name of Ganges or Ganga is Vishnupadi. Why? Because of Vamandev's foot. It is emanating from Lord Vamandev's feet. Mahavishnu is actually an expansion of Balaram, who is Krishna's first expansion. And in the Vrindavan pastimes, his brother. In the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. The word Ram refers to Balaram. This is another not clear conception. So whenever we are chanting Hare Krishna and we are chanting Hare Ram or Ram Ram, Hare Hare, we are not referring to Maryada Purushottam Ram. But the Ram in Mahamantra refers to Balaram. Since Lord Nityananda is Balaram, Ram also refers to Lord Nityananda. That is why it is Lord Nityananda Balaram. You remember when I read the chapter, 5th chapter, I emphasized this, that Lord Nityananda Balaram. Thus, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama addresses not only Krishna and Balaram, but Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda as well. The subject matter of the Caitanya-Caritāmṛta deals primarily with what is beyond this material creation. So how we can understand Caitanya-Caritāmṛta? Because the subject matter is beyond this material creation. The cosmic material expansion is called Maya illusion because it has no external existence. Because it is sometimes manifested and sometimes not, it is regarded as illusory. But beyond this temporary manifestation is a higher nature as indicated in the Bhagavad Gita. It is called the Paravyoma. Para means which is transcendental or which is beyond matter. So see the verse, it says, Parastasmatu bhavo anyo avyakto avyaktat sanatana. So which is paras? Paras means which is beyond matter. And anyo means another nature. Bhavo anyo. What is that nature? It is avyakto. It is unmanifest. And it is sanatana. Sanatana means it is eternal. Yasa sarveshu bhuteshu nasyatsu na vinashyati. Yet there is another unmanifest nature which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and it is never annihilated. When all in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. The material world has a manifested state, vyakta, and a potential unmanifested avyakta. What did Krishna say? Avyakta adini bhutani vyakta madhyani bharata. So what is the first stage? It is unmanifest. And then what is the second stage? It is manifest. And then again it becomes unmanifest. So that is there for everything which is in this material nature. So the material world has a manifested vyakta and a potential unmanifested avyakta. Understood? The supreme nature is beyond both the manifest and the unmanifest material nature. The superior nature can be understood as the living force, which is present in the bodies of all living creatures. That is the soul. The body itself is composed of inferior nature matter, but it is the superior nature that is moving the body, which is the soul. The symptom of that superior nature is consciousness. Thus, in the spiritual world, where everything is composed of the superior nature, everything is conscious. In the material world, there are inanimate objects that are not conscious. But in the spiritual world, nothing is inanimate. Their table is conscious, the land is conscious, the trees are conscious, everything is conscious. It is not possible to imagine how far this material manifestation extends. In the material world, everything is calculated by imagination or by some imperfect method. But the Vedic literature gives real information of what lies beyond this material universe. Since it is not possible to obtain information of anything beyond this material nature by experimental means, those who believe only in experimental knowledge may doubt the Vedic conclusions. For such people cannot even calculate how far this universe extends, nor can they reach far into the universe itself. That which is beyond our power of conception is called achintya, inconceivable. It is useless to argue or speculate about the inconceivable. If something is truly inconceivable, it is not subject to speculation or experimentation. Our energy is limited and our sense perception is limited. Therefore, we must rely on the Vedic conclusions regarding the subject matter which is inconceivable. Knowledge of the superior nature must simply be accepted without arguments. So this is a spiritualist. That knowledge of the superior nature must be simply accepted without arguments. No refutation, no argument. How it is possible to argue about something which we have no access? Prabhupada is asking. The method for understanding transcendental subject matter is given by Lord Krishna himself in the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna tells Arjuna at the beginning of the 4th chapter, Imam vivasvate yogam proktavanaham avyayam vivasvan manave praha manurikshva kave bravir. I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god Vivasvan, and Vivasvan instructed it to Manu, the father of mankind, and Manu in turn instructed it to Ikshvaku. This is the method of parampara or disciplic succession. Similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam explains that Krishna imparted knowledge into the heart of Brahma, the first created being within the universe. Brahma imparted those lessons to his disciple Narad, and Narad imparted that knowledge to his disciple Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva imparted to Madhvacharya, and from Madhvacharya the knowledge comes down to Madhavendra Puri, and then to Ishwar Puri, and from him to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One may ask that if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, then why did he need a spiritual master? Of course, he did not need a spiritual master, but because he was playing the role of an acharya, one who teaches by example, he accepted a spiritual master. Even Krishna himself accepted a spiritual master, for that is the system. In this way, the Lord sets the example for men. We should not think, however, that the Lord takes a spiritual master because he is in want of knowledge. He is simply stressing the importance of accepting the disciplic succession. The knowledge taught in that disciplic succession actually comes from the Lord himself. And if the knowledge descends unbroken, it is perfect. Although we may not be in touch with the original personality who first imparted the knowledge, we may receive the same knowledge through the process of transmission. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that Krishna, the supreme absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, transmitted transcendental knowledge into the heart of Brahma. This then is one way knowledge is received, through the heart. Thus, there are two processes by which one may receive knowledge. One depends directly upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated as the super soul within the heart of all living entities. And the other depends on the Guru or spiritual master, who is an expansion of Krishna. Thus, Krishna transmits information both from within and from without. We simply have to receive it. If knowledge is received in this way, it doesn't matter whether it is inconceivable or not. Please try to understand this, very important. So, Prabhupada is saying there are two ways. If Krishna comes and directly reveals, or the other is to accept the authority of the spiritual master. And what we have to do, we have to simply receive it. So Prabhupada is saying if knowledge is received in this way, it doesn't matter whether it is inconceivable or not, it will manifest in the heart. In Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a great deal of information given about the Vaikuntha planetary systems, which are beyond the material universe. Similarly, a great deal of inconceivable information is given in the Caitanya-Caritāmṛta. Any attempt to arrive at this information through experimental knowledge will fail. Prabhupada is warning. Any attempt to arrive at this information through experimental knowledge will fail. The knowledge simply has to be accepted. According to the Vedic method, Shabda or transcendental sound is regarded as evidence. Sound is very important in Vedic understanding. For if it is pure, it is accepted as authoritative. Even in the material world, we accept a great deal of information sent thousands of miles by telephone or radio. In this way, we also accept sound as evidence in our daily life. Although we cannot see the informant, we accept his information as valid on the basis of sound. Sound vibration then is very important in the transmission of Vedic knowledge. Prabhupada gives an example of how, although the person who is far ahead in miles, like we do every day, we have a mobile phone. Although now the facility of video call is there, but not every call that we do is video call. And whatever we hear, we accept. Whatever is coming from the other side. So Prabhupada is saying, so we accept information on the basis of a valid basis of sound. The Vedas inform us that beyond these cosmic manifestations, there are extensive planets in the spiritual sky. This material manifestation is regarded as only a small portion of total creation. How much is material nature? What is that portion? How small is the portion? Yes?
25%. Probably.
25%. The material manifestation includes not only this universe, but innumerable others as well. But all the material universes combined constitute only 1/4 of the total creation. You are right. 1/4 is how much? 25%. That means 3/4, 75% is in the spiritual planets. The remaining 3/4 is situated in the spiritual sky. In that sky, innumerable planets float, and these are called Vaikuntha Lokas. In every Vaikuntha Loka, Narayan presides with his 4 expansions: Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and Vasudeva. This Sankarshan states Krishnadas Kaviraj in the 8th verse of Caitanya-Caritāmṛta is Lord Nityananda. As stated before, it is in the form of Mahavishnu that Lord manifests the material universe. Just as the husband and wife combine to beget offspring, Mahavishnu combines with his wife Maya or material nature. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says, Sarvayoneshu Kaunteya Murtaya Sambhavantiya Tasam Brahma Mahadhyonir Ahambija Pradapita. It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature. And that I am the seed-giving father. Vishnu impregnates Maya, the material nature, simply by glancing at her. This is the spiritual method. Materially, we are limited to impregnating by only one particular part of our body. But the Supreme Lord, Krishna or Mahavishnu, can impregnate by any part. Simply by glancing, the Lord can conceive countless living entities in the womb of material nature. The Brahma Samhita confirms that the spiritual body of the Supreme Lord is so powerful that any part of his body can perform the function of any other part. We can touch only with our hands or skin, but Krishna can touch just by glancing. We can see only with our eyes, we cannot touch or smell with them. Krishna, however, can touch, smell, and also eat with his eyes. When food is offered to Krishna, we do not see him eating, but he eats simply by glancing at the food. We cannot imagine how things work in the spiritual world. Everywhere, everything is spiritual. It is not that Krishna does not eat, or that we imagine that he eats. He actually eats, but his eating is different from ours. Our eating process will be similar to his when we are completely on the spiritual planet. On that planet, every part of the body can act on behalf of any other part. What is the verse? Very famous verse. Every day we recite. क्या हुआ? That Krishna can perform the act not only by a particular limb or organ, he can perform any act with any limb. What is the verse?
Angani Sakalendriya.
Yes. Who said? Pranav?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes. Angani yatsa saklarendriya. So Krishna has this unique position that his senses, they are all transcendental. They can perform any action, any activity, interchangeably. So that is why Prabhupada is saying on that platform, every part of the body can act on behalf of any other part. Vishnu does not require anything in order to create. He does not require the goddess Lakshmi in order to give birth to Brahma. For Brahma is born from the lotus flower that grows from the navel of Vishnu. So Brahmaji is not conceived by the mother. He comes directly from the father, Lord Mahavishnu. The goddess Lakshmi sits at the feet of Vishnu and serves him. In this material world, sex is required to produce children. But in the spiritual world, a man can produce as many children as he likes without having to take the help from his wife. So there is no sex there. Because we have no experience with spiritual energy, we think that the Brahma's birth from the navel of Vishnu is simply a fictional story. We are not aware that spiritual energy is so powerful that it can do anything and everything. Material energy is dependent on certain laws, but spiritual energy is fully independent. Countless universes resides like seeds within the skin pores of Mahavishnu. And when he exhales, they are all manifested. In the material world, we have no experience of such a thing. But do we experience a perverted reflection in the phenomena of perspiration? We cannot imagine, however, the duration of one breath of Mahavishnu. For within one breath, all the universes are created and annihilated. Just imagine. The entire universe comes into existence and it is wound up. What is the duration? Breathing. One breathing cycle of Lord Mahavishnu. This is stated in the Brahma Samhita. Lord Brahma lives only for the duration of one breath. And according to our time scale, it is, I don't know how many zeros are there. So 43,20,000 years constitute only 12 hours of Brahma. That is one day. That is the Chatur Yuga into 71 times. Into 14. That is the calculation. And according to our time scale, it is how much? Unit, tens, 100,000, 10,000, lakh, 10 lakh, crore, 10 crore, 100 crore. It is 4,320,000,000 years constitute only 12 hours of Brahma. And Brahma lives 100 of his years. Yet the whole life of Brahma is contained within one breath of Mahavishnu. Thus, it is not possible for us to imagine the breathing power of Mahavishnu, who is but a partial manifestation of Lord Nityananda. This, the author of the Caitanya-Caritāmṛta explains in the 9th verse. In the 10th and 11th verses, Krishnadas Kaviraj describes Garbhodakshai Vishnu and Shirodakshai Vishnu, successive planetary expansions of Mahavishnu. Brahma appears upon a lotus growing from the navel of Garbhodakshai Vishnu. And within the stem of the lotus are so many planetary systems. Then Brahma creates the whole of human society, animal society, everything. Shirodakshai Vishnu lies on the milk ocean within the universe, of which he is the controller and maintainer. Thus, Brahma is the creator, Vishnu is the maintainer, and when the time for annihilation arrives, Shiva will finish everything. In the first 11 verses of Caitanya-Caritāmṛta, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami thus discusses Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Sri Krishna himself, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Lord Nityananda as Balaram, the first expansion of Krishna. Then in the 12th and 13th verse, he describes Advaita Acharya, who is another principal associate of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's and an incarnation of Mahavishnu. Thus, Advaita Acharya is also Lord, or more precisely, an expansion of the Lord. Thus, Advaita Acharya is also the Lord, or more precisely, an expansion of the Lord. The word Advaita means non-dual, and his name is such because he is non-different from the Supreme Lord. He is also called Acharya, teacher, because he disseminated Krishna consciousness. Why he is Advait? Because he is non-different. He is non-different or non-dual from Lord Vishnu. So he is Advaita. And he takes the position of a transcendental teacher, an Acharya. Acharya means one who teaches by his own example. So he is called Advaita Acharya because he disseminated Krishna consciousness. In this way, he is just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Although Lord Chaitanya is the Krishna himself, he appeared as a devotee to teach people in general how to love Krishna. Similarly, although Advaita Acharya is the Lord, he appeared just to distribute the knowledge of Krishna consciousness. Thus, he is also the Lord, incarnated as a devotee. In the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, Krishna is manifested in 5 different features, known as Panchatattva, to whom Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj offers his obeisances. In the 14th verse, in the Caitanya-Caritāmṛta, Krishna and his associate appear as devotees of the Supreme Lord in the form of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityanand Prabhu, Sri Advaita Acharya, Sri Gadadhar, and Srivas Prabhu. In all cases, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the source of energy of all his devotees. Since this is the case, we take shelter of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for the successful execution of Krishna consciousness. We are sure to make progress. In a devotional song, Narottama Das Thakur sings, "My dear Lord Chaitanya, please have mercy upon me. There is no one who is as merciful as you. My plea is most urgent because your mission is to deliver the fallen souls, and no one is more fallen than I am. Therefore, I beg priority." The verse 15, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami begins offering his obeisances directly to Krishna himself. Krishnadas Kaviraj was an inhabitant of Vrindavan and a great devotee. He had been living with his family in Katwa, a small town in the district of Burdwan in Bengal. He worshipped Radha Krishna with his family, and once, when there was some misunderstanding among the family members about devotional service, he was advised by Nityananda Prabhu in a dream to leave home and go to Vrindavan. Although he was very old, he started out that very night and went to live in Vrindavan. While he was there, he met some of the 6 Goswamis, the principal disciples of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was requested to write Caitanya-Caritāmṛta by the devotees of Vrindavan. Although he began this work at a very old age, But by the grace of Lord Chaitanya, he finished it. Today, it remains the most authoritative book on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy and life. When Krishna's Kaviraj was living in Vrindavan, there were not very many temples. At that time, the three principal temples were those of Madan Mohan, Govindji, and Gopinath. As a resident of Vrindavan, Krishna's Kaviraj offers his respect to the deities in the temples and requests God's favor. My progress in spiritual life is very slow. I am asking your help. In the 5th verse of Caitanya-Caritāmṛta, Krishna's Kaviraj offers his obeisances to Madan Mohan Vigraha, the deity who can help us progress in Krishna consciousness. In the execution of Krishna consciousness, our first business is to know Krishna and our relationship with him. To know Krishna is to know oneself, and to know oneself is to know one's relationship with Krishna. Since the relationship can be learned by worshipping the Madan Mohan Vigraha, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami first establishes his relationship with him. When this is established in the 16th verse, Krishnadas offered these obeisances to the functional deity Govinda. The Govinda deity is called the functional deity because he shows us how to serve Radha and Krishna. So first there is relationship, there is Sambandha. And what do we do in Sambandha? In Sambandha there is exchange. What is the exchange? Is to perform devotional service, which is the Abhidaya. But unless and until the Sambandha is established, what will one do? Abhidaya, one will never come to that platform. So here it is being told about it. That the functional deity is Govindji. Govindji is the deity for Abhidaya. Abhidaya means the attaining the process. And what the process is? To perform devotional service. So Madan Mohan's deity simply establishes that I am your eternal servant. With Govinda, however, there is actual acceptance of service. So there is reciprocation. Govinda resides eternally in Vrindavan. In the spiritual world of Vrindavan, the buildings are made of touchstone. The cows are known as Surbi cows, giver of abundant milk, and the trees are known as wish-fulfilling trees, Kalpataru. For they yield whatever one desires. In Vrindavan, Krishna herds the Surbi cow, and he is worshipped by hundreds and thousands of gopis, cowherd girls, who are all goddesses of fortune. When Krishna descends to this material world, the same Vrindavan descends with him. Just as an entourage accompanies an important person. Because when Krishna comes, his land also comes. Vrindavan is considered to exist beyond this material world. Therefore, a devotee takes shelter of the Vrindavan in India. Sorry. Vrindavan is considered to exist beyond the material world. Therefore, a devotee takes shelter of Vrindavan in India, for it is considered to be a replica of the original Vrindavan. Although one may complain that no Kalpa Vriksha, wish-fulfilling trees exist there, when the 6 Goswamis were there, Kalpa Vrikshas were present. It is not that one can simply go to such a tree and make demands. One must first become a devotee. The Goswamis would live under a tree for one night only, and the trees would satisfy all their desires. For the common man, this may all seem very wonderful, but as one makes progress in devotional service, all this can be realized. So I'll stop here. I will stop here. We'll continue tomorrow. I have a class to prepare for tomorrow, so I need a little bit of time for that also. Okay. So we read today. So this is how this Caitanya-Caritāmṛta is progressing. We have actually covered 7 chapters to some extent. Many things may be very new most of the conceptions will be not verifiable or feasible to us, to our intelligence, to our mind. But what is the way Prabhupada is recommending? How we can move forward, how we can progress? Yes, Ganesh Prabhu.
Prabhuji, without argument, accepting things,
Yeah.
no refutation, no argument.
Yes, we may try, but our mind is there. He always comes into play. Like some spiritual conception, many times we may not be able to fathom. So, what is the difference between a materialist and spiritualist? Materialist, first he wants to get clarity. First he wants to be convinced. First he wants to be clear. He has to see a foolproof evidence. Then he will accept. Then how does it matter whether he accepts or he does not accept? Where is the question of faith and trust in that? But a spiritualist, he accepts first and then understands. Materialist, first he understands and he then accepts. Okay, any question, any doubt or any discussion? Keep writing. I am very, very thankful. At least yesterday I received 4 write-ups. Sonika and Manish are daily contributing, and Pranav also wrote. And Pranav's write-up was very, very nectaring. Very good. Keep writing, Pranav. Every one of us will improve. This is what devotional service is. As we continue and as we strive, as we make an effort, Krishna helps. And also Dola Mani Prabhu also wrote. Yes, Sonika, boliye.
Prabhuji, once please summarize that Sambandha Videya you have explained. No?
Yeah. So see, it will come. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, see, very systematically he is offering his respects, his obeisances, his namaskars. In the first 6 verses, he is glorifying Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then he is glorifying Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Then Advaita Acharya. Then the Pancha Tattva. And after that, he starts to offer obeisances to the 3 presiding deities. Sri Madan Mohan, Govind Dev, and Gopinath. So with Madan Mohan is the presiding deities for Sambandhas, Sambandhagya, our relationship with him. So Madan Mohan ji gave, as we read, Madan Mohan gave the empowerment to write Caitanya-Caritāmṛta to Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. And the Acharya is Srila Sanatana Goswami. And the Abhideya is the process. Okay, the Sambandha is there. You have established the relationship. We know that we are part and Krishna is supreme. That I belong to Krishna. Then we have to be established in that relationship. We have to have reciprocation and exchange in that relationship. So how that will happen is when we adopt the process of devotional service or devotional practice. And the Acharya for Abhideya, which is the devotional process, is Srila Rupa Goswami. Srila Rupa Goswami. And what is the prayojan? The goal, Gopinatha Shriyastano, is Lord Gopinath. That is the prayojan. Prayojan means the goal. What is the prayojan of Gopinath? Is spontaneous attraction like the gopis. Their incessant love for Krishna. That is the summit. That is the culmination. That is the final threshold. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Suman. बोलिए सुमन.
My question is that in the Mangalacharan there are 3 parts. The second part, Prabhuji, I wanted to know. The third part is the blessing.
Vastu Nirdesh. Vastu Nirdesh. Who is the object of worship? Like we were reading, we were studying now. The first 6 verses are to whom it is being offered? Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the next set of verses, it is being offered to whom? To Nityanand Prabhu. And that is called the Vastu Nirdesh. Who is the object of worship? We are offering obeisances, but to whom? Who is the personality to whom this obeisances or worship is being offered? Okay. Hare Krishna. Okay, we will continue. You have one more question? Your hand is still up.
No.
Okay. Thank you very much. Śrī Caitanya-Caritāmṛta ki jai. So you see why I am reading, because Prabhupada is already explaining the verses. When we will come to the verse, we will be able to understand at least little bit of it, some part of it. Although it is very, very advanced verses. But because Prabhupada has already explained, you know, the child, can we give the child direct meal? No. He cannot be given rice and wheat. Why? Because if he is given rice and wheat, he will not be able to digest. He does not have that capacity to digest. So what is given? He is given that baby food, Cerelac. And after taking Cerelac for a few months, when his digestion is strong enough, then he is given the meals. So if we do not read the introduction, I can guarantee you will not understand even an iota of what Kaviraj Goswami will start explaining in philosophical terms, the first 14 verses. And later the first verse is explained in the rest of the chapter. So it is very, very condensed way of presenting the glorification of the Lord. So, but by Prabhupada's mercy only we stand a chance that we will enter into this topic of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Very confidential. 3 tattvas are very confidential. Most confidential. What are the 3 most confidential tattva? Although the tattva of Krishna is so confidential. Krishna says, Jan karm cha me divyam. Evam yo veti tattvata. Not easy. But even more confidential is the tattva of Srimati Radharani than the tattva of Krishna. And both are combining. So how much more difficult it is? Impossible. By human intelligence, it is impossible. But how it will become possible? Only by the mercy of the Acharyas. Thank you very much. Śrī Caitanya-Caritāmṛta ki jai, Shri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari.